Good morning, and welcome back to the Last Line to Newsmen. It is I, Sean. Oh boy, it is 4:30 in the morning at the moment. I've just hopped in the car. I've had my shower. I've done all that, packed blankets and everything, because I'm making the long, full day's worth of work driving down to Masters, arguably Australia's biggest, actually probably not even arguably, it just is Australia's biggest and most prestigious MESBG tournament, run by Adam. He's done an absolutely stellar job organising and running this event over the years, and it's come back bigger and better. There is approximately 90 people, just shy of 90 people attending this event. There's some really wacky lists, there's some really hyper competitive lists, there's some really whacked out, just fun, janky lists. So I'm very excited for this event. I can't wait to sink my teeth into it. But for now, I'm just gonna start driving, and hopefully we make it past just this video, because I am a little bit tired.
There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill in Baggin. There always will be.
Well, we're about an hour on the road, just passed into Tweed Heads, which is the border between Queensland and New South Wales. Still another 8.5 hours left to go. The rain has just kicked in. It's all happening. It's all happening. My spirit has not waned as of yet. I'm not super tired. I'm ready to go. I am looking to try and find a petrol station though, or for all of those not in Australia or places that use petrol, gas, fuel, petroleum, or whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to push it as far as I can. And it looks like I'm going to be pushing it a fair while, because I just can't seem to find a bloody petrol station. Found a petrol station with 33 k's left on the clock. So fuel up. There is a Mickey D's here, so I'm going to get some chow. I haven't had any breakfast yet. There's also Krispy Kremes, which I have a weird relationship with Krispy Kremes. As you all know, I'm a bit of a chunky boy, but Krispy Kremes, I love the idea of eating a Krispy Kreme, but then they always taste like shit. But that could be a controversial opinion, but that is just mine. Anyway, fueling up both the car and fueling up me to continue this drive. As mentioned, there is still about 8 hours left to go, 8.5 hours left to go. So a full day worth of work driving this beautiful, great beast. I got some sweet chili tenders instead of Macca's. These things remind me of my childhood. It's just like process the fuck out of chicken and it's sweet chili. We used to get them at the tuck shop at school. These were like the hot ticket item. So there's some mukbang shit for you boys. Masters. as I mentioned, the most prestigious tournament held in Australia. Now, it is, I believe, 6 games over the 2 days. I could be wrong. There's a whole thing of do well enough, and then you get into the whatever to try and win it. I don't remember the system. I'm not going to Masters to do well, to win or nothing. I'm going and staying with the Victorians. I'm going to, so like, you know, a bunch of people, so like Jacob, Kylie, I believe Matt might be there. So a few people that I used to hang around with a bit in this MESBG scene, and a bunch of new Victorians as well, which I'm very excited to meet and hang out with. But yeah, so I'm just going there just to hang out, have a cool weekend of rolling dice. In saying that, I do need to actually go and buy some dice because I forgot to bring my dice and tape measure with me. So that will be a business expense. Absolutely, it won't be. But dice and tape measure, I'm gonna have to go and get that. But as I said, I don't care how many games there are. I don't care if I do well or if I do bad. I'm just there to roll dice, sink piss, have a few laughs, meet up with mates, just generally have a good time. It's been a very long few months for me, and this is the last weekend of hardcore, just like weeks and months of just being busy. So very excited to just get this done. I'm just going to chow down on this and get back on the road. So I've just made it into Coffs Harbour, my first major stop of the trip. I just really love Coffs Harbour. Hey, it's a very nice place. It's a lovely harbour. You guys may have seen it in one of the previous vlogs when me and Elias drove down to New South Wales for a tournament held by Andrew Medbury. We stopped at the Big Banana. We stopped at this little Dutch village thing. We went to the Bunnings. We just had like, I don't know, a crazy stop here, and I think the two of us fell in love with the place so much so that on the way back up we stopped in Coffs Harbour again and went and visited the harbour itself and got some fish and chips, which is exactly my plan at the moment. If that fish and chip shop is open, I will be diving into some calamari and chips because they were incredible. So I'm very excited for that. Hopefully the place is open for me. But we are here. I think this means there's about another 5-6 hours left on the trip to get into Sydney, somewhere along the lines of that. So I'm going to piss fart around Coffs Harbour for a little bit, and then I will continue on the way to Sydney, and I will probably see you when I get to Sydney. I made a little bit of a goof. The chippy that I wanted to go to was closed, along with basically everything else. So I thought I'd head into town to get something to eat. Lo and behold, the road I took me back onto the freeway. So I've got to wait for a truck stop to show up so I can get something to eat. And I tell you what, I'm fading. I'm struggling. I need some food. I'm awake. I'm fine, I'm good to go in that regards, but boy howdy do I need a feed. In the wise words of the chats, I'm fanging a feed. Oh, it's Riley and Jacob. Alright, so I've arrived in Sydney. Arrived at our destination. It is a beautiful house, absolutely sensational. Our boys from down in Victoria have done a brilliant job in choosing our location to stay. It's about 15-20 minutes from the venue for tomorrow, but for now I'm on my way to the combat company because I realised I left my dice and tape measure at home. Now, I've been offered dice and tape measures, but because I'm a material boy, I want my own stuff. So, sadly, my loaded dice are at home. No, I don't have any of them, or maybe I do. So, about 20 minutes to the combat company to pick up some dice and a tape measure for the weekend, which will be great. Caught up with Riley. He was the first to enter the venue, so we had a bit of a yarn. Oh, there's a dude who's walking over a red light. Good job. Love Sydney, love Sydney, love Sydney. We had a good yarn. We had a good catch up because he's staying with us over the weekend. So it's absolutely awesome to see him. But for now, I'm going to make the trip to the combat company. Riley did say to be careful. He has been there once before, and it is completely stocked with Lord of the Rings stuff. I'm currently poor, so God, watch me buy about 30 million different things. We'll see how that goes. But another thing I just want to say is, God, I love New South Wales, but Sydney itself, I fucking hate. Driving in Sydney, the drivers here are atrocious. They don't know what they're doing. The lanes are super narrow. You'll be driving in a 110 zone and someone will be driving at 80 Ks. For some unknown reason, they'll just sit on 80 Ks. They have a really weird law where provisional drivers, their speed limit, I think the P1 drivers, their limit is 90 Ks. And so you're driving along, 100, 110 zone, and you've got a bunch of P1 drivers who are sitting on 90 and just holding up absolutely everyone. It's atrocious. It's some of the worst drivers and super pretentious drivers as well. Anywho, that's enough complaining about Sydney. Just do better. that store was amazing. Holy shit. It's a good thing I left my wallet at home and only had my backup card, which was sitting on my phone, that I could tap away because that's got barely any cash on it. But they had everything for every single game system. So I picked up my dice. I got some disgusting little orangey yellow dice. Picked up a tape measure. It's a pretty cool little tape measure. It's nothing special. But then I couldn't walk away without any models. So I picked up an R1 Even Star, which will be perfect to round off my leopard print Rivendell army. Which is the last model I've been needing to do that. So another blue horse. Maybe different colour because it's meant to be Asphalaf, leopard print Arwen, which will be great, and then another unpainted dismount for the army, which is well exciting. But anywho, back to the house that we're staying at. I think people are starting to arrive now, as it is now 5:04. They said they were going to start arriving between 5 and 6. So we'll go there, meet up with everyone, and then figure out what we're doing for the evening. But if I don't talk to you guys again today or in this part, straight into tomorrow. It's going to be an absolute bang up day. Very excited to get started. There's some filthy lists. I've found out my pod, as I'll be going up against a Smaug, a Fiefdoms list, and a Mordor list to start off with. So 2 lists, the Smaug and the Fiefdoms list. I might struggle against them, but we shall see. So we've just arrived at the venue. The boys have taken the stuff out and they've started heading in to the venue, the Padstow RSL. This place is incredible. Super excited to start getting games in, which I think are about to start in about 10-15 minutes, so I should probably start heading in there. But we are here. The venue's incredible. They gave us a little goodie bag with the Hero of Valor award. Shout out to Jeremy for winning that. You've done an incredible job with the Tasmanian community, so you absolutely deserve to win the Hero of Valor prize this year. For those that don't know what that is, each year in the Australian community, one outstanding member of the Australian community gets called the Hero of Valor, and they get a little model by Andrew Medbury made up for them. So absolutely brilliant, great for the community, great for everyone. It's phenomenal. But I guess I should run in to the venue. I'm sure I've chucked up a list or mentioned my list somewhere in this vlog before. If I haven't, I'll slap it up here again, but it is my leopard print boys. Now going into this event, I am not intending on playing very well. I want to drink, I want to socialise, I want to have some laughs and fun whilst rolling some dice. So that is my goal. So don't expect me to place well. It's just not not the intention of this event for me. But let's run in. As I said, I think it's about to start in about 10-15 minutes, so I should dive back in there. Round one done. Round one was a really fun game against old mate Jason Daly, who was running fiefdoms with Imrahill, Angball, Forlong, and then slotted in Madrill for shits and giggles. It was a really solid list. There were a lot of the Highlanders, I can't remember their names, Clansmen of Lamadon, and then a bunch of Pikesmen. So it was absolutely brilliant list. We played Contest of Champions, and in the end, it came down to a 9-2 victory to my fellowship Rivendell Alliance, which was wholly unexpected, just because it was such a tight game the entire way through. Incredibly close game. Aragon whiffing, Imrahill whiffing, but Aragon was lucky enough to get three kills to Imrahill's 1. Which Imrahill's 1 was Gildor, which was brilliant. So Gildor didn't really do too much that game except one cheeky transfix, and then pulled off old mate Imrahill, which was quite vital early on in the game. But in classic fashion, Elrahir, the ship brother, was terrible. Blew 3 points of might in a turn or two. I think it was one turn. It just kept struggling. Had to have his brother Aladan come across to the flank to help him take out some ranges and Forlong. It was not a very good day for him. But in the end, 9-2 victory. So very happy with that. I believe I will be versing a Smaug next, so expect a loss from me. Well, that's round 2 done, and that was an incredibly quick game against Mr. Jack and his Smaug. So took on Smaug in round 2, and we played Hold Ground. Now we were playing the Maelstrom pools, and so we got to veto from there. I vetoed first, and I got rid of Heirlooms, hoping and praying that he was going to keep command of the battlefield, but there was no way on God's earth was he going to allow that to happen. So we ended up playing Hold Ground. And I had one tactic, and that was to break and have as many models on the middle as I could. Now sadly, that just didn't happen. All of his barges killed my lads, which expected. But then, yeah, barge into Aragon, killed Aragon, gets the leader kill. It was just cascading effect of just people. All my lads dying, but at the end of the day, it was a really fun game. It ended 5-1 because I wounded Smaug 3 or 4 times, I can't remember. But it was a very quick game. As I said, lots of fun. But we will dive into round 3 once I've had a quick nap, because we've still got 106 minutes left on the clock, and alcohol is starting to take effect at the moment. I'm feeling it pretty rough, so I'm gonna have a quick nap and then we'll dive into round 3. Well, game 3 is done. I'm very drunk and very tired. I've been drinking all the way through all my games. All games today have been an absolute blast, but this last game was against the return of the King, Legendary Legion, and we were playing Capture and Control. Now, in my inebriated state, I decided to charge a D8 shield wall, which was honestly the most amount of fun. I kept myself in it, I kept scraping turns through, and things were looking really good. I broke him really quickly, which was super surprising. I was still 5-6 models away from being broken, so he'd only killed 3 models, but 2 of them were Aladan and Elrahir. Finally got Aladan and Elrahir's special rule of one of the twin dies and the other one goes a bit apeshit. That finally happened, which I'm really excited about, but he immediately died to Legolas after watching his brother get killed by Legolas the turn prior. But there was about 3 or 5 turns, between 3 and 5 turns, I don't remember, where I could have won the game of Capture and Control because I controlled 4 of the 5 objectives. But then as those turns went on, I watched my VPs drop, I watched Aragorn die, everything just started just disappearing. We kept rolling 3s for the 1-2 break until the one turn where I just could not win the game, and we rolled the 1 and he pulled it out. He was absolutely brilliant opponent. Brett was great, and thanks for the gamer, dude. Thanks to everyone who I versed in day 1. I had an absolute blast every single game, and now I'm going to go sink some more piss and get even more drunk, and then we'll dive into the last 2 rounds for tomorrow. We've just arrived back at the Padstow RSL for day 2 of Masters. We had a lovely night last night. Start off with the RSL, got a little bit too expensive for me, so me and Riley scooted off, went to BWS, picked up our own stuff, and then headed back to the house, had a quick little rest, and then met up with the others who joined us at the house, and we played Barlin's Tomb and a few other games. A few of the guys were playing poker, had laughs, spoke about lists, spoke about silly, janky stuff. I spoke a lot of shit about the GBHL because they live in our minds rent-free. So it was a really good night, great just mingling with all the Victorians and a few of the New South Welshmen. It was a phenomenal night, but we are here for day 2 of Masters. Let's rock and or roll. Alright, so I've just come back to the car after round 4 of Masters. I now played a fella called Eric and his Iron Hills. He was running Iron Hills with a couple of crossbows, mainly spear and shield, as is the smart way to do it. Then he had Old Man Dane, or Old Dwarf Dane. He then had Nori and Ori running around, so we played Destroy the Supplies, and it was really fun game. He's getting my best sport, absolutely no doubt. We just had lots of fun, lots of laughs.
We both could have played the dickhead game of him sitting back and me running around for my movement, but we decided that we were going to fight it out a bit, and so Aragorn comes up the left flank, does really well. We burn a supply, but then losing a single heroic roll-off was a bit rough, and so old mate Aragorn carked it, getting surrounded by a bunch of dwarves, and the three heroes on the right flank, the twins and Boromir, just kept fluffing, could not do anything. So this is the third D8 army that I versed at the tournament, if you include Smaug, of course. So I had the Smaug, Army of the Dead, and now Iron Hills D7, D8. So very, very rough matchups for me so far. But once again, this was a really, really fun game, and Eric was an absolute legend. Game 4 against Brody, what a fucking laugh. I got waffle stomped by a Mumak hill. So it was Mumak with a bunch of lads on top, and then the Witch King. Absolutely incredible game. I've never laughed so much in a game. I don't even remember what scenario we were playing because we just ignored it essentially. I believe it was Assassination, which did end in 12-2 to Brody. But it was just great. Just running shit into the Mumak. Gildor is officially the greatest holder-upper, the greatest roadblock for a Mumak, and Aragorn and Boromir lost both their horses, and then they jumped onto the horses of the twins, which I was like, hey bro, can I use the passenger rule? He said, fucking absolutely you can, and then proceeded to lose all four heroes the very next turn to a trample from the Mumak war leader, which was absolutely insane. Absolutely bang up game, lots of fun, but I'm going to go and say goodbye to everyone inside, and then I'm going to scoot off home to Queensland for another nice 9.5 hour long drive. Well, that's Masters done and dusted, and now I have the long 9.5 hour trip back home to Brisbane. 9.5 hours if I don't stop for any breaks, which I definitely fucking will be, because I am not planned to get back until midnight, which means there will be a lot of driving through the night, which I have not a lot of intention on doing. So I'll probably have a snooze somewhere in the car and wait for morning or something. But I wanted to get a jump start on the travel after the event. To have a quick yarn about Masters, ended the 2-day tournament exactly how I wanted to, which was I played 5 people I've never versed before, so 5 new people that were all absolutely incredible. Every single game was really fun and enjoyable, which was the main goal for me. So as meeting new people and having fun and enjoyable games. I did walk away with 1 win, so that was a minor win. I walked away with 3 minor losses and 1 major loss, which was in the last round against that Mumak where it waffle stomped me, which was that last game I would put down as the most enjoyable in terms of banter between the two of us. In terms of my favourite game of the event, which was a really nice mix between the bants, drinking, and having a proper serious game against Jason, against Jason and his fiefdoms list. That was without a doubt my favourite game of the tournament. 3 other really fun games. I versed the Smaug, which was a lot of fun. There was a little bit of salt from me at the end of that, walking away from that. I just feel a bit yeah, I don't know. It's never fun versing an army like that. You can try and make it fun, which we did, and I did enjoy playing it, but I just had this weird feeling, this void in me at the end of the game whilst I was sitting down having some drinks and talking to others. I really miss that traditional gameplay, that traditional style of playing, models being thrown into each other, and not necessarily shield walls, but you know what I mean, the intricate movements instead of just throwing 5 models plus into Smaug and whatnot. But beyond that, it was brilliant. Adam ran a really, really smooth tournament. Some very, very minor hiccups that did not affect the players, apart from a game starting maybe 10 minutes late or later than we wanted. But beyond that, he did a stellar job. Will I be back for the next one? If I have the money to do so, I will. If I have the money and time, I will make the effort to come back down for Masters. I'd love to come down for Clash as well. I definitely want to mingle with the New South Wales community a lot more, because as much as I give them shit, a lot of them, they're a great bunch of guys. And the terrain that they have, the armies that they have, the dedication that they show to this hobby is absolutely phenomenal. So I definitely want to come back and visit them at some point. One thing I did want to mention, it's probably a video that I'd like to make with Liam in the future, is just about not even overly competitive armies, but armies that don't allow your opponents to do literally anything. And we had one of them show up, and that was Tom Bombadil Bubble. And for anyone who doesn't know that, it's Tom Bombadil, a hero spam list, Saruman, a couple of the Thorin's Code Dwarves, and whoever else showed up. And Tom Bombadil sits in the middle, those heroes stand around him, base contact with him, and they move forward like so. And because of Tom Bombadil's Tommy's master rule or whatever it is, you can't actually charge anyone because his control zone, technically speaking, jots out further than the base, because the bases are just smaller than an inch, but that's because of the fucking imperial to metric system. And when the TO heard about this, the TO said, yep, no one can get charged, that's how the rules are written. So hearing that was quite, devastating. Hearing a lot of the players who versed that list just were in feral moods afterwards. It reminded me of my own experience against the Vanquishers in Toowoomba a little while ago. So I sympathise for them, and I do know that one guy just, as soon as he saw that he got that pick, he just said, I'm packing up and going home. So he packed up and went home, which is a real shame, because he's paid $75 to attend this tournament, and in the very last game he gets Tom Bombadil and says, what's the point? Like, playing that versus driving back home, it's the exact same thing for him, which is a real bummer. And I'm definitely sad that he had to deal with that. But yeah, I think we might make a video on that at some point. We'll see. So with me leaving Masters before all the stuff was announced, all the placings and awards were announced, I can't exactly tell you where I placed with my 4 losses and a win, but my guess is it'll be the lower end of the spectrum. I'll be looking at definitely not a last place, but definitely at near the bottom of the rung, which, as I mentioned, perfectly okay with. I did find out as I was driving, on about 2 hours out of Sydney when I received this message, that I came 3rd for best sport, which was wholly unexpected, but I'm absolutely ecstatic about. So obviously not only did my opponents give me incredible games, which they 100% did, it turns out I must have given them some pretty impressive games as well. so they must have had a lot of fun playing in those games. So that's really, really nice to hear. And at a big event like Masters, it's always really nice to walk away with a little something. And something as big as third place in best sport is really, really nice to hear. So a big thank you to those lads that voted for me for their best sport, or their second or third best sport. I'm really, truly honoured by that. I did also find out that I walked away with Best Painted Squad, which I submitted Gildor and the Noldorian Exiles into that. Apparently it was between myself and Jacob from Conquest Creations, who submitted a Malifaux warband called the Wild Riders, the Wild Boys, the Wild something or other. Now, you didn't just have to submit Lord of the Rings stuff. You could have submitted literally anything, so that's why Jake was able to submit a Malifaux warband. There was a World Eaters warband. There were some really cool things floating around. But yeah, I was able to walk away with Best Painted Squad for Gildor and the Boys, which I'm even more stoked about, in all honesty. Which my award for that was another one of the Jeremy Hero of Valor Awards. So I now have 2 of them, which is very, very exciting. So I'm truly honoured by the third place in Best Sport, and the fact that the judges and everyone loved Gildor and his Exiles. Put a lot of work into them. I'm not a big convert, I'm not very good at it, but I did some converting with them, and people appreciated that, which is really nice. And being able to walk away with 2 awards from Masters truly has warmed this cold heart. To round it off, or to round this vlog off, because I'm not going to make you guys sit and watch the trip home, I'm just going to basically leave it here. But once again, big shout out to the Patreons. We absolutely adore you. You make trips like this possible. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have been able to afford the fuel to get to and from Queensland to New South Wales for the event. So we truly do appreciate everything you do for us. If you haven't signed up for our Patreon and you would like to, once again, we would really, really appreciate that. It allows us to build up the quality. Yes, we're building up slowly, but we've just got lights, we've just got mics. We're learning to edit a bit better, hoping to get some better editing software as well to really spice some shit up. So if the link for whatever in the description down below doesn't work, which it hasn't been for a while, if you just head over to Patreon itself, type in the last line to Noobs Men, you'll see us there. And for the price of buying us a beer, you can really help support myself and Liam to continue doing what we love.